xa, ai vẫn hát vang lời Việt Nam. Nhìn về đại dương, ta nhớ hương quê nhà ở đó. Còn nhiều lầm than sau phút súng gươm buồn lặng im, là tiếng khóc thương đời biệt ly, bên tiếng hát ru gọi người về. Trong mộng nửa đêm, ai đánh thức khu vườn tuổi thơ và gọi dòng sông đưa lối tới cuối làng đầu xóm. Từ thời loạn ly qua những lúc đất trời bình yên, chị vẫn hát ru tình chờ mong, mẹ vẫn hát ru đời thủy chung. Vào lòng nhau ơi những trái tim gọi Việt Nam, tựa vào lòng nhau ơi những trái tim cùng dòng máu. Bao lần đổi mới bằng cuồng bề dâu, sương trắng vẫn cao nghẹo thành non, dòng máu vẫn tuôn trào thành sông, chưa thấy bóng thanh bình một lần. Dù nhung dầu vinh, xin hãy hát vang lời Việt Nam, đưa vào lòng nhau ơi những trái tim cùng dòng máu. Gọi người gọi ta, gọi số kiếp lưu đầy gần xa, gọi bóng tối ngừng bài cuồng ca, cho tim hát mơ ngày Việt Nam. Dù nhung sầu vinh, xin hãy hát vang lời Việt Nam, đưa vào lòng nhau ơi những trái tim cùng dòng máu. Gọi người gọi ta, gọi số kiếp lưu đầy gần xa, gọi bóng tối ngừng bài cuồng ca, cho tiếng hát mơ ngày Việt Nam. Một ngày Việt Nam, ngày thoát bóng đêm dài lầm than, ngày thế giới gieo mừng hòa vang, trong khúc hát muôn ngày Việt Nam. mình người ơi. Con tim chân chính không bao giờ biết đến nói dối. Tôi đi chinh chiến qua bao năm trường rồi miệt mài, và hồn tôi mang vết thương để
But
thương
all
chân
Americans
ai.
all over the country. So with that, Filipino-American Voice United, let me show you a few slides. Let me introduce to you our organization. Okay, so this is our event today. And then previously, next slide, thank you. Yes, we are FabU, or call it Fabulous. Alright, so you remember. We have chapters in various states, Georgia, Nevada, of course California, New York. We're opening also in Hawaii. Okay, and Washington, of course. Yes, so what are we? Yes, we are a valid foundation for future generations of Filipino Americans. Yes, and we are waiting for giant. What does this mean? Estimate is that there are close to 5 million Filipino Americans in the United States. But we seem to be invisible. We are awesome, but I think there's still a lot of potential to be made. Given that, I want to say, we have had, most people are not aware that we've been in the United States, started in 1587, more than 400 years. And supposedly we discovered California, and I have a slide on that, okay? Now, FabU has had major campaigns in the White House, in the U.S. Congress. These are part of the letters that we sent to President Biden to release, as an example, during the campaign, to release the vaccines in 2020. So we worked with that and wrote the key bipartisan leaders of U.S. Congress and Senate. Next slide. Then, as a result of that, or together with that, with the leadership of our chairman, Neil Fagames, we created and reached out to close to 500,000 Filipinos around the world. We had what's called as One Voice, One People, where we had the top 14 artists, Filipino artists, to share, and we had this national, or it was actually an international Live Aid Philippines. Given that all of these artists whom you know gave their time for free. Next slide, please. And because of that, we were able to make a donation of 5.3 million. I wish dollars, but it was in pesos. Okay. Now we also are supporting the Dr. Amanda Silva Public Service Awards. So we will have that again next year, maybe around March or April, among others. Next. So what is this Waking the Philippine Giant? 4.1 to 5 million Filipinos. Next slide. And we discovered in 1587, here's the actual historic marker in Morro Bay. If you don't believe that Filipinos discovered California, there's a marker. Okay? 1587, 400 years more than before the Puritans arrived. Really? Yes. Okay? Then people don't know that Filipinos fought in the American War of Independence against the British in 1812. Really? Yes, we did. Next slide. And in 1861, there was the American Civil War. Filipinos fought in both the Union and Confederate. So they bet on both sides, right? Okay. So here's an actual photo of a Filipino who fought in the Civil War. When I read this, I was amazed and inspired, as I hope you are too this evening. Okay. Then in 1899, Are we aware that there was a Philippine-American War? 25,000 combatants died and close to 200, maybe 400,000 civilian casualties at that time. Okay, next slide. And then in 1945, our Filipinos fought with the highest distinctions in World War II. Highest in the whole World War II. And then most people, however, are not aware that we have also been victimized with racist riots, but it showed the Filipino resilience. Okay, this is in California, Watsonville, and there are others that were actually victimized by rioters and Filipinos died. So where are we? That's why we're here, Larry Itlong, as the all-American hero of Philippine descent. Now, what the impact of that is to the United States is that it impacted the civil rights movement in the 60s. So even the Kennedys, like Robert Kennedy, actually recognized not only Cesar Chavez, but Larry Itlong for leading and organizing here in the West Coast, impacting the whole country and the whole world in 1970. Okay? So, this evening, we are creating, with your support, the momentum for an October 25 movement. What is that? The birthday of Larry Itlong was 3 days ago, last Wednesday. Why is this significant? You are probably aware that there is a Cesar Chavez Day in March, right? On his birthday. And that's rightly so. Shouldn't there be an October 25 National Day? I'm glad to say that Attorney General Robert Monta, who's coming in shortly, actually pioneered for the state of California to name October 25 National Day in California. And of course, the leadership we have here, distinguished members of the city of Carson, who has led the country to recognize Larry Itlong. That's why last Wednesday, I think the only city in the whole United States that had a holiday, non-working holiday, right, Mayor? For Larry Itlong Day, the only city in the whole United States, city of Carson, recognizes Larry Itlong. So what are we saying here? We want this to be recognized not just in California or in Carson, but in all 50 states. That is our advocacy. And we have also asked, we have petitioned, including the Philippine Congress, that it be recognized in the Philippine Congress. That's one. And two, be recognized by the United Nations with the ILO, the Commission on Migrant Workers. These are our letters. We were working with City of Carson last year. We wrote the letters, and City of Tacoma, represented by our APT Commissioner, Maricris Valdez. So is that my last slide? I think that's my last slide. So I want to say thank you for being here this evening and for making this happen. All right? Thank you.
All right, let's give him another big round of applause. I learned so much information in that short 10-minute presentation, right?
Hopefully we're taking a test after this, right? Or finals. I left my scanner at home, sorry. But anyways, how are you guys doing tonight? Ayos ba kayo? All right, and of course, right now, that's definitely a great history lesson. And hopefully, just to let you know, guys, make sure your hair is good, your makeup's great. This is gonna be televised live mainstream to our wonderful friends over here. And I think There's one over there, one over here. So make sure don't do anything crazy. You know, we are live. This is going to be streamed internationally. Okay. All right.
That's phenomenal. I did not know that part. A good thing I fixed my hair in the bathrooms again.
I know I have to fix my bald spot right now, but it's okay.
It's good.
But anyways, so hopefully we're going to be waiting for our distinguished honor, and of course that honor, of course, is AG Attorney General Monta, who will be receiving the award for Larry Lim Award, which is right over here. If you have never seen the award, it's just perching like here, like a true bird, right on stage. So she'll be receiving that, and of course.
I almost tripped over it. It's a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, when Jerry told me like to make sure it doesn't fly away, I'm like, how is it not gonna fly away? I mean, it was in a box, you know. My gosh. Anyway.
Can I just say too, it is Councilmember Rojas has arrived, and let's give her a big round of applause. Looking as lovely as ever.
And I told you, they were here the whole time. Councilman Cedric Hicks over there, and State Senator Stephen Bradford. And of course, we're going to be definitely honoring a lot of folks too also, all over. And with that, I believe... Go ahead.
I just want to say too, like the way that you honor Larry Itliong in the city of Carson, California really inspires me coming from Tacoma, Washington, that we need to start, getting on that train and that bandwagon towards, I see Tito Ray nodding his head. We need to get our legislators, our cities involved and aware of the power and the impact of not only what Larry Itliong represents to our nation, but again, to our world, of what a powerful Filipino voice can do for our communities. And honestly, the first time I came here to Carson, I was a little bit jealous, I'll admit it. The fact that you honor Larry Itliong like Martin Luther King Jr. You have a whole day, you have competitions where people, not just Filipinos, but everyone participates, draws art, has poetry. And I wanted to cry just thinking about it because I've never seen something like that before. And it really moved me. So it's really an honor to be invited back to be here and to celebrate Larry Itliong Day with you, because no one does it quite like Carson. So, yeah.
And not only that, just this morning earlier, City of Carson celebrated their annual Larry Itliong Day. And almost everyone's here too also earlier. So I'm back here again. And with that, I believe, I don't know, is our MC and our guest of all hosts here? I'm gonna check with our programmer, so. All right, so I'm gonna have the introduction of our guest speakers, but with that, I believe I want to have since our state senator, Madam Mayor, with permission and council, may I have the state senator come up because I know he has a busy day. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give him a round of applause. District 35 State Senator Stephen Bradford, please.
Good evening. Good evening. It is truly an honor to be here and celebrate Larry Itliong Day and also Filipino American Month here in the city of Carson. Give City of Carson a round of applause for their visionary leadership. And as we just heard, Larry Itliong should be a household name, just like Cesar Chavez, Martin Luther King, A. Philip Randolph, because he led the labor movement here in this state and helped mobilize it across this nation. Many people fail to understand it was Filipino immigrants who were the first migrant workers here in California. It wasn't our Mexican-American brothers and sisters, it was the Filipinos. And that's what led Larry to come to California, because he originally came to the United States to be a lawyer. He wanted to be a lawyer. And he left the Philippines as a teenager with a 6th grade education. And he never achieved his dreams as a lawyer, but he studied law and he trained himself so he could able to advocate on behalf of the Filipino workers throughout California, across the nation. And as you know, he is referred to as Larry Seven Fingers, because a lot of folks don't know he tragically lost 3 fingers in a cannery, fish cannery in Alaska while he was working there, as well as organizing workers. And we need to tell that story. So on behalf of the state of California, I'm honored to be here. I'm honored that you're going to recognize my former colleague in the legislature, now is Attorney General Rob Ponte, who's a visionary leadership. And I'm also excited to say that I serve with his wife, Mia Ponte. She's in the assembly right now. But he deserves his recognition because he's a courageous, fearless individual. And he represents the best of not only what the Filipino community represents, but what America represents as well. And on behalf of the state of California, I'm honored to be here. Thank you for this opportunity. And whatever we can do to continue to push this agenda, count me in. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Let's give it up one more time for our representative.
Okay, now I told you that we're still live, of course. So here's the young gentleman that will introduce us why we're live and which company that we're going to be viewing. Can you please come up, sir? You want to introduce us?
Woo!
I did not expect to put me on spot like this. This problem, Jerry have to answer. So, but anyway, I'm CEO of Global TV Live. We do worldwide live stream, and it's an honor for Global TV to be a part of Filipino community and this very wonderful event. And we will do that. And don't worry, I send the bill to Jerry.
You sent the bill to Jerry, but not to me. Okay, fine. Okay, so of course, right now with that, let's also acknowledge. I know amongst us also we have some magnificent organizations here, and of course, I know commissioners in the house in Carson. Raise your hand who are commissioners of Carson. Let's give a hand, folks. And you know what? More than just Carson folks are here. We have folks all the way from the Valley, Orange County, out of state. Anyone here internationally, other than the Vice Consul? Because I know you came from the Philippines, I know that, definitely. And so, and I know Jerry's giving me the cue right now. No, he's not giving the cue. He's just giving me the whatever to make sure we keep on going and making sure that you guys enjoy yourself. And right now, and for me, Larry and Young, when I found out and how I learned about it was through college, because I'm, as an immigrant, naturalized U.S., I've never heard about stories about the Delano grape strike. I've always wondered, meron ba tayo, Mayani, do we have a hero? I mean, great heroes like Martin Luther King, Cesar Chavez were amazing, but meron ba tayo para sa Pilipino? And when I heard about the Delano grape strike and Larry Itliong, Philip Vera Cruz, and many others, Manogs, and of course, being a Manong, well, I'm not Manong material yet, though, even though I am from the northern part of the Philippines. And just hearing the stories, not just hearing the stories, ladies and gentlemen, I actually got a chance with a few delegations to visit Delano, saan nag-simula, where it all began, from Cesar Chavez, and to where Larry Itliong, and it's amazing. And of course, City of Carson is very much amazing and grateful, and it's a very diverse city, and that when the city hosted Larry Itliong annually every year, we always have Mr. Johnny Itliong, who was here earlier too also, and hearing the stories when as a child, you know, just witnessing what his father has done, the movements, the meetings. I think he actually ran for office at one point, but he's still a magnificent, a great figure in the labor, and that we're truly, truly very much appreciative, and hopefully all of us, and if there's any young ones in the house, which I know we do, hopefully they get a chance to learn kung sino si Larry Itliong. I know you got a chance to learn Larry Itliong, and what grade and what college and when?
Oh, yeah. I had the pleasure and honor of learning in depth about Larry Itliong from someone who knew him very well, Ray Pasqua over there, everyone. And he and I are on a few others are from Washington State. And it's just been such an honor to be mentored by Tito Ray. So I just want to give him a big round of applause just because shout out to all the people out there who are mentoring people like me, like us, who are still learning and are wanting and are hungry to learn, because we want that representation. We want to see how we have also been movers and shakers in our nation, that we're interwoven into the fabric of what it means to be not only an American, but to be an American leader, that we can be like Larry too. And that's the type of leadership that we want to exemplify. And it's really a powerful statement and testament to our Filipino, what do you call it, feistiness. So my father's from Bicol, we call it Oragon. So it just is this kind of fighting spirit. And Larry never backed down, he never gave up. And that's the kind of thing we want to keep doing. I know I'm serving in a public position. There are many public officials in the room, especially people of color, who can identify with this. But it can be really intimidating sometimes. You might want to just walk out of the room because of the discourse and how difficult it can be. But it's because of mentors who pour into us and tell us, if you move from that seat, where will our voice be? And I'm so proud of what Jerry and all of Fabio has done to make sure that our voice is not forgotten and that it's heard. So it's just such an honor to be here. And yeah, let's go, Larry. Yeah.
And of course, and throughout this, we wouldn't have this being here, if Larry, spoke up and have all his friends. And you know what? A lot of organizations, are now following his footsteps. I mean, I'm very glad that all of us are here, from Dreamers and Visionaries to Kalayaan to Philippine Nurses Association, to Filipino Community of Los Angeles, PABA, NAFA, all you guys, and also the Long Beach Bacolod Association. Thank you guys for coming here representing for this magnificent event and of this day and honoring our honoree. And of course, I'm being cued like, no, not yet. Sorry, guys.
Can I sing?
Yes, go ahead, please.
So I want to dedicate this song to all of you. This will just be really impromptu kasi may oras pa. I really want you all to sing this with me because it is a classic. I was inspired because on the screen we had Talita Corrales, right? Right. So, do you know what song we're going to sing together? Dahil Sa'yo. All right. So, impromptu na lang to. So, you have to sing with me, ah. Sa buhay ko'y labis ang hirap at pasakit ng pusong umiibig, mandiwala ng langit at nang lumigaya, hinanggo mo sa dusa, tanging ikaw sinta ang aking pag-asa. Dahil sa'yo, nais kong mabuhay. Dahil sa'yo, hanggang mamatay, dapat mong tantuin, wala nang ibang giliw. Puso ko'y tanungin, ikaw at ikaw rin. And ladies and gentlemen, I just heard we have a very special guest here tonight.
And to help me introduce this special guest, the honoree for the evening, let me introduce Singh. So this wonderful person who will be introducing our honoree is a public servant and protecting the community for 33 years. In 1990, she became the first female Pinay police officer in the city of Los Angeles. She is now the city councilwoman in the city of Carson, born in Guam, with her roots from Iloilo and Bacolod. Ladies and gentlemen, to help introduce our honoree, Councilwoman Arlene Bocatija Rojas.
Thank you. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Maraming salamat. And thank you, Filipino American Voice United, for coming to our city of Carson. Welcome to the city of Carson. It is with great pleasure and great honor to introduce to you your keynote speaker. He is the first Filipino American to take a seat in our state legislature. Thank you. He authored Assembly Bill 7, which stated that October 25th, Larry Itliong's birthday, will be the day that we honor our Filipino American farm workers. Larry Itliong, our leader, our fighter, and the person who led us to all our hard-working workers today. So we thank Larry Itliong. And today, again, it is my pleasure to introduce this gentleman who is the highest leader, one of the highest leaders in our state of California. So everybody, put your hands together for our Filipino American, my brother-in-law, meaning law enforcement, our California State Attorney General, Rob Bonta. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Magandang gabi. Please sit down. I'm honored and grateful. And I do want to apologize up front. I know that we're tight on time. It's no less special, but I know that we're short on time today, and I want to make every minute of it count. So let me first just say thank you to all of you for the very kind reception and the warm embrace. I'm honored to be here and grateful to be here. Thank you to all of you for celebrating the life and legacy of one of the great American heroes, who happens to also be Filipino American and a Filipino American hero and a California hero. But Larry Itliong, of course, has been an inspiration for so many of us, for our community, for our people, and certainly for me. And thank you for this incredible honor. Anything that has the name Larry Itliong on it that I'm associated with is a deep honor, a huge privilege, and something that's very, very special to me. And so I want to say thank you. Thank you also to Filipino American Voice United for all you do to uplift our Filipino American community, to serve, to celebrate and uplift our traditions, our culture, our history, our legacy, our contributions. It's so important to make sure that we are intentional about the remembrance and celebration of all that we've done to build this state, to build this nation, and to remember with pride the contributions Filipino Americans have made, the indelible mark we've left on this great state, on this great nation. And today is a day to do that as we all come together. Also, this month is a month where we take special care to remember the Filipino American contributions during Filipino American History Month, the month of October. And it just, I guess, Manong Larry was very good at planning his birthday. He planned it during Filipino American History Month. So October 25th is his birthday. So we also celebrate Larry Itliong Day in this month of October. an official day of recognition for Larry Itliong, for his contributions, for his leadership, for what he has done to make our state and our nation fairer and greater and better. And that is a date that, as mentioned, I was very proud to bring into official existence as a California state legislator. So thank you. Let me also say thank you to our FAVU chair people, Evelyn Andamo, Juanita Gomez. Thank you for your service and thank you for all you do for bringing us together tonight. Thank you as well, to, of course, to Jerry, the FAVU president, for your friendship and your leadership. And again, grateful to be here today. I just want to share a few reflections in my comments tonight. And one of them is certainly the need to continue throughout the year, and certainly in October, certainly on October 25th, to always intentionally lift up our community. It won't happen on its own. And so we need to do it. And I'm grateful that you are, that we are. I'm grateful that more people are learning about Larry Itliong. When I was growing up, I grew up in part in the United Farmworkers of America headquarters in La Paz. And my parents were part of the United Farmworkers of America movement. We lived in a trailer in La Paz. My parents got paid $5 a week for their service to the movement. My dad worked in the front office in the headquarters. He helped set up healthcare clinics for farm workers. My mom in the preschool, helping make sure that the children of the workers and the activists were learning and growing while their parents worked. And Dolores Huerta was there, the great Philip Vera Cruz, another great Filipino-American leader, an American leader we should never forget. I would come to our trailer for Filipino breakfast, and my mom would prepare it for him, and we'd host him. And so Larry was no longer there, but what we were a part of, Larry started. He started it in 1965 with the Delano Grape Strike, and on September 8th, led the Agricultural Workers Organizing Committee. And he, like so many other of our manongs who were working in the fields, were away from their families. They were following the work throughout the West Coast, as far up as Alaska, into Washington, throughout California. And they were alone. By design, they came here searching for work and the ability to support their families, and they would often send their money back home to the Philippines. So they had a lot at stake. And they also looked at the conditions that they lived under, and they thought they were unfair. And they were unfair, and that they could be better. And that if they didn't take a stand, if they didn't take action, nothing would change. So they had to take a risk. And I went to the Delano Hall, the Filipino Hall in Delano, the community hall. And it was very special. It was the 50th anniversary of the Delano Grape Strike. And I felt the ghosts and the spirits in the room. And I just imagined what it would have been like for Larry to call a meeting to ask all of the members of AWOC, thumbs up or thumbs down, are we going to go on strike and stand for what's right? The harder path, the path where we could lose, we could risk it all and lose our livelihoods, not be able to support our families. Are we going to do what's right, or are we going to do what's easy? And they did what was right. And it was the harder path. And in the end, thank you. Thank you. And in the end, it was, they risked a lot for themselves. They then reached out to Cesar Chavez to join the movement. And Filipino Americans and Latinos had often been pitted against one another by the growers. When one went on strike, the other would be brought in to fill in the void and to do the work. And Larry and Cesar got together and they said, what if we both go on strike together? And what if we join forces and create what is now the world-renowned, iconic United Farmworkers of America? And they did. And they created an unstoppable coalition that led to a historic contract for the workers, better and safer working conditions. And for those who feed the world and feed the state, it led to fairer treatment for them. And so that's the Larry Itliong that I remember. That's the Larry Itliong that I know. And that's the Larry Itliong that inspires me. And when I came to know about him, I was a history major in college. And I would look through my books in history. I go to history class studying that period of time, 1960s, civil rights, American history, California history, and I would never see his name, not once. I never saw the Delano Grape Strike of 1965. I never saw AWOC. I never saw Larry or Philip. And I thought that was wrong. I knew that those incidents occurred. I knew that those leaders led. I knew that they transformed our state for the better, made our world more just. And I felt it was a disservice for their stories not to be told, for our next generation of young people, Filipino or otherwise, to learn about them, to read about them, to be inspired by them. So fast forward, I ended up with the support of a lot of you, being the first Filipino-American state legislator in the history of California. Thank you. And the campaign is very important. You need to have a strategy and execute a plan that gets you into office. And then once you're in office, you have to make it count. And so I asked myself, what am I going to do to make it count? I had a long list. But one of the first things on my list, I think the very first bill I ever introduced was AB 123, which was very personal to me, very important to our community, and it required that the contributions of Filipino Americans to the California farm labor movement be taught in our schools, and that it be required, and it be taught when we teach about Cesar Chavez and the United Farm Worker Movement, that the iconic Cesar and the incredible UFW, of course, they were already being taught, and they should be. And another part of the story should be taught too. And that was the Filipino-American contributions. And so we got that bill passed, and a lot of your voices were in the Capitol and in the room when that happened. And so I'm proud for two reasons. One, that our manongs, Larry and Philip and so many others who risked so much to make our world better and fair, that they are now acknowledged, remembered, not forgotten, recognized for all that they've done. And also that the next generation and the generation after that can be inspired by their incredible work. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm also, some of you may know, there is a musical called Larry the Musical that is coming out. And it's actually, like when you think of Larry Itliong, you don't think Broadway musicals. At least I don't. Maybe you do. But I went to a early teaser earlier this week, that on October 25th, actually, that showed some incredibly, from deep and powerful stories. It showed workers traveling up and down the West Coast. There was a story about Watsonville, the Watsonville riots and the murder of a Filipino American. That's all going to be coming to the big stage, and something that maybe you'd be interested in supporting when it comes out. I say that to say our stories are being told more often. Representation matters, and our stories need to be told in all media, in all forms, whenever possible, from our history books to our theaters to the big screen. And it goes on from there. So I just want to say, Larry has been an inspiration to me, and I know to many of you, and he made me always remember two things. One, we don't have to be bystanders and spectators as the future unfolds in front of us, that we can do something about what comes next. We can make tomorrow more fair than today. We can right historic wrongs and take on injustices, that we don't just have to hope and look out the window and hope that something might be better. We can make it better ourselves. Our action can change our world for the better. And then he also taught me that when you team up, when you work in coalition, when you have each other's back, when we come together in unity, there's nothing that you can't do. And the UFW is an incredible example of the power of coalition building and the ability to change. And that's work, or that's inspiration that I brought into my work at the California Department of Justice. I see my role as being the people's attorney, fighting for the people, fighting for everyday Californians, making your fights my fights, whatever they might be, taking on rises in crime, confronting our fentanyl crisis, making sure we're tackling organized retail crime, human trafficking, hate crimes, also addressing homelessness, making sure that we're moving in a compassionate, humane way, folks from the street, indoors, where they're getting programs and services that they need to get on the road to recovery and to be productive members of our community. We're also making sure that cities do their part to contribute to building more housing that is needed throughout California. We need to have 3 million units by 2030. We're not on pace, and we will not get there unless everybody does their part. No entity, no city needs to do everything, but every city should do something. Build some housing, contribute, and then together we'll get there together. And we're holding big corporations accountable when they violate the law, including folks like our opioid industry, the Purdue and the Sackler family, Meta, when it knowingly harms our children with its social media platforms, our fossil fuel companies, when they know about climate change and lie about it. We're holding the biggest, most powerful accountable when they violate the law. Of course, we want our businesses to succeed, and they can be very successful within the bounds of the law. The fact that we're on the verge of being the 4th largest economy in the world shows. And we're taking on gun violence, making sure that we make sure our communities are safe from gun violence, our children in schools, and also making sure our rights and freedoms are protected. So there's a lot that we're doing, and I'm very inspired by Larry. I do want to just end with this. I know that when I walked up here, you were all very kind with your support, but I think I've been reflecting. I think I am at best the 4th most popular Banta. Reina Banta, my daughter, is a professional star soccer player who represented the Philippines in the World Cup. And in a few hours, she kicks off against Australia in Perth, Australia for Olympic qualifying, again with the Philippine women's national team. So as you can tell, I'm a very proud dad. And many of you may know my mother, Cynthia Banta, a legend in the Filipino-American community, an activist. She just turned 86 years young on October 9th. Filipino-American History Month, she and Larry planned together to have their birthdays in October. And then my partner in life, my partner in service, the love of my life, Mia Banta, is a California State Assembly member. And she's proud to be serving with her as well. So I just want to say I'm honored and grateful for this Larry Itliong Leadership Board. It means the world to me. I'm grateful that I could come and be with you. I thank you for lifting up Larry and his tradition and his legacy, and for being champions for our Filipino-American community. Let me just end with this. Filipino history is California history. Filipino history is American history. We are California. We are America. We're going to keep writing history together. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give it up for our guest speaker. As your mayor of this great city of Carson, I have a surprise for you. I would have presented you with this plaque, but I think it's more appropriate for Larry Itliong's son, Johnny Itliong, to present you this certificate, this plaque. Isn't this wonderful? We're going to stand in the middle, stand in the middle. And could you read this? Johnny.
Had to get some social media going there. Hello, everybody. Hello, thank you for having me. Rob, welcome, man. Brother. Attorney General Rob Banta, in recognition of your hard work, dedication, and success as a legislator, and the author of the law that established October 25th as the day we honor California civil rights hero and labor leader Larry Itliong, the city of Carson applauds that you continue along Larry's legacy in fighting for justice, equality, and inclusion. Wishing you continued success from our proud city and community, my second home.
Yes.
Was presented on this day, the 28th of October, 2023, by the mayor, city council, and the citizens of Carson City, and myself. Thank you, Rob.
Let's give him a round of applause again, and thank you so much for joining. I know he's on a short time schedule here, so we're gonna rush him right out, but thank you so much. Councilwoman, thank you. Come on up.
We are also honored to have the Philippine FABU President, Jerry Tagla, and our Chairman, Nympha. And we're also joined by Chairman of Program, Evelyn, and to present this award to you for just being that exemplary leader also for Larry's legacy in our world. So maraming salamat po. Oh yeah. Can we pass this to you?
Sure. Again, it is our honor, AG. There is a quote here from the father of Johnny. It says, in the Constitution, it said that everybody has equal rights and justice. You've got to make that come about. They are not going to give it to you. From Larry Itliong. Right? And so, on behalf of the Filipino-American Voice United, this trophy is given to Attorney General Robert Bonta. Your actions and accomplishments exemplify the Filipino-American spirit of valor and victory, of courage and character in uniting people and succeeding against all odds, right? In recognition, the Filipino-American Voice United FAVU honors you with this Larry Itliong Leadership Award of 2023 here in the Community Center, City of Carson, on this day, October 28, signed by our chairman, Nympho Games, and myself as president. And then, okay, good, thank you. And then there's an inscription at the back if you want to read it. It's a, yeah. Yes.
Can we ask everybody to please stand up? Let us all raise our hands in unison with our awardee. Follow after him, please.
All right, we're going to do this affirmation together. I do affirm that I will faithfully serve the purpose and principles of the Larry Award bestowed upon me and will, to the best of my ability, contribute, support, and promote Larry Itliong as an all-American national hero of Philippine descent. Thank you.
He has to go. He has to go. You want to bring this? And this. Thank you.
Thank you. He has to come.
You have to.
Thirty seconds. Thank you so much. Okay.
Next round.
Bye-bye.
Your dinner? So we're gonna have dinner. So we want to say thank you. That the schedule was very tight, but he made it. So we're gonna have dinner. Yeah, it's being served salad. Okay, June and Marie Chris. We had originally planned that he was going to have photos with each one of us, but unfortunately, the plan was the plan. But we made it happen, right? Marie Chris? Johnny, thank you. Salamat po. We're gonna have the band play. And you want to say something?
All right, let's give them another big round of applause. How wonderful was that? An inspiring evening. And now we are having live music from our fantastic band. Soul Revival is in the house, everyone. Let's give them a big round of applause. Woo!
So enjoy your dinner, okay? All right, man. You guys ready? They're checking the thing now. Oh my God.
Just what you want me to do. One hand sail on this cold lonely sea. So please tell me why don't you come around the world? 'Cause right now outside the door, the kiss for justice a little bit, a little bit. Suddenly, we are tonight, a little bit of free. I'm telling you, my baby, it's all in the state of love. Whatever you want me to do. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're the only one. So please tell me why don't you go around? 'Cause right now, I know I love you so. Just say a little love. Decide to keep the way love to back. A little bit of pain, a little bit of love. Tell me you are there, it's all in the day. Silent kiss, bring your arms to bear. A little bit of less, a little bit of pain. I'm telling you, my baby, it's all in the
much. Thank you so much. How's everybody doing? Are you guys having a great time tonight? That's great. All right, if you guys have any requests, once again, let us know. And we'll try to do it. Once again, we are Soul Revive, and we are doing our very first set. Hope you guys enjoy your dinner. All right, here's a song that I'd like to share with everybody from Tamiya.
Falling on you. What you have told me made I feel listen. This party I can't say, but I call it long enough to go. Keep going Thank you so much. I hope you guys are having a great night. Once again, while you guys are enjoying your dinner, if you guys have any requests that maybe you can do, just let us know. Maybe if somebody wants to jam too. We are more open for that. generous now. Someone said to me, hold on, and I let you I don't wanna go. I wanna know what you say. It should be you. That's how I want it to be. Tell me you feel the same way. And I let you know now I know that you're taking your time. And your first is tattoo on my heart. And I let you so much. Very much. I hope you guys are having a great night. In the meantime, I would like to call a special guest of ours, actually. I'd like to call my very own daughter. She wanted to go perform to everybody, and this is her first performance. She practiced very well on this, and I am a very proud mom. Her name is Camina. How about a big hand? Love my life, darling. You've taken my love, and now these love my life, you say, bring it back around to turn away from me. Don't know what it means to me.
Thank you so much, Karina. That was beautiful. I'm a proud mama. That was her first time to perform to everybody. She was very she was insisting that she can do it. And I'm so proud of you, honey. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I'll leave you guys with Jay. He's gonna render us a very beautiful song. Okay, we're gonna request the song. We're gonna try. We're gonna try. Hold on. I see the trees, meadows and streams. I see the moon for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. See skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed day, God's sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, also on the faces, people going by. I see the rain, say how you do. Next thing I'm saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I want you more than love is more than I ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
So pretty in the sky, we're all so unexpected. People passing by, I see what she I hear babies cry, watch them grow. They learn much more than I ever known. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. What a wonderful world. Oh, I don't like that song. It's a feeling I don't understand. If my heart created all time, thoughts and love all my life, give me it, I just want to know where I can go. If I always think I lose all control, that's so for me, and I guess so hungry.
Thank you. Once again, we are so whereby and we are on our very first set. I believe there's another program. There's still a continuation of the program. So I would like for you guys to enjoy your dessert while we serenade you. All right. I heard that this is going to be our last song for this set before we continue the program. Tell myself you guys are doing dancing, please go. I'd like to bring you back to the program. Thank you so much.
All right. So how's dinner, guys? How's the food? I know I was waiting for Pinola, but hey, Constitution did a good job also. So what's the feel for the band, guys? Alright, so one of our many speakers for the evening. I'm going to bring the wonderful lady who actually introduced Sir Carson, part of the magnificent NAFA board, also past member of and still active in community also, and many other organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may have your attention, introducing our speaker, Ms. Evelyn Andamo. My friend.
Hi, good evening. I have the honor and privilege of introducing one of our guest speakers. Actually hosting him in our guest host. And I request my home and privilege. And I have known Ray Asma just for a little while. So I'd rather that he gives more of his bio. And I would just like to let you know that he is a good friend of our dear Larry Young and an uncle to Johnny Young. I'd like to present to you Ray Pasqua. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Nice to see you. Mabuhay! And I am from the state of Washington. I am a Commissioner Emeritus of the Commission on Asian Pacific American Affairs, which is a state agency. I was president of the Yakima Valley Filipino American Community for 25 years, and the Yakima Valley was the site of the first anti-Filipino riots in the United States. That was in 1927. And as a result of that community, the Yakima Valley became a strong community and built a Filipino hall that was inaugurated in 1952. And it is on the verge of becoming a national historic site. Hello, Carson City. Hello to you who are here for the Larry Young Award night. I'm going to make it personal. I met Larry Young in 1970. And in 1971, I was able to bring him to Washington State 3 times. Twice to speak to the conferences in the Puget Sound, that's in the Seattle area. And the third time he spoke at the first Filipino-American Young People's Conference. Now I want to make this little, very short and very personal. Who are the ladies here? Raise your hands, ladies. Raise your hands. I just want to say that it's a beautiful evening and you're all beautiful. You're all beautiful. Thank you. I want to say something. If you know about Filipino-American history and the era that Larry Young grew up in, there was a really sad thing that happened to the Filipino-American community and people that came to the United States beginning in the 1910s. And what was that? Yes, my friend Alex. What happened was 95% of the Filipinos who came from 1918 onwards were men. Very few women came to the United States because of our Catholic religion, which did not allow women to travel without chaperones. So 95% of the people that came were men. And what else were they struck with in the United States? It hit all of us who were minority then, anti-miscegenation laws. So Filipinos could not marry anybody other than a Filipino in the United States. And that happened in county after county, except in the Yakima Valley, where curiously our people, our men, intermarried with the Yakima Indian tribe. And they were allowed to marry those Indian women. And I even had black aunties, Mexican aunties, Puerto Rican aunties. And so there was some sense of normalcy in the Yakima Valley because after there was that intermarriage, our community was able to farm. And it's one of very few farming communities in the United States. Now, I had a full speech here, but I wanted to say something. I wanted, first of all, for my co-writer on my book, Mary Chris, to read. This is history, folks. This is history. In 1970, we brought Larry Itliong to Washington State. And this is his resume that he sent to our student activists in Bellingham. This is his resume. This is a man who went only to the 4th grade. He was self-taught, and he came to the United States, landing in Seattle in 1927 at 15 years old. So we brought him to Western in 1970, and this is his own resume.
Wow, I'm holding in my hands a piece of history. This is incredible. So, resume of Larry Itliong, formerly Assistant Director of the UFWOC, the United Farm Workers Organizing Committee, and the President Phil M. Stockton County, Filipino American, President of Pangasinan Association, presently Northern Pangasinan Association, President of Filipino American Political Association nationally, member of the Congressional Leadership for the Future based in Washington, D.C., board member of California Rural Legal Assistance. There we go again with the legal knowledge. And a wage board member of California Industrial Wage Commissioner for Women and Minors, and organizing consultant for California Labor Movement. His educational background is, it says, a quote unquote, did not finish grammar school, self-educated. Yeah, it says.
You are going to write the other part of the story.
There we go.
I just wanted to repeat what Johnny said this morning. And it struck me. And that's why I say, I love the women here. I love the women. And when Larry came to Seattle, the Filipino Youth Activities Drill Team, a nationally known youth group, did a performance. And his first words were always, I love the children. The children are so beautiful. They are going to be our future. And please, teach your children to learn about our Filipino American communities. Teach your children. I touched another nerve with Johnny Itliong this morning because he said, I lost my father at age 11. And I looked at him, I said, I didn't know that. Larry Itliong died when he was only 63 years old. But my message to Johnny was, I lost my father at age 11 too. My father died when I was age 11. bringing me to the men. I think Johnny hit the message that, Marissa did in her, that last part of Delano Monangs is so beautiful with the singing of Dahil Sayo in English. Watch that film. Watch that film, folks, because it started on the road of what happened and what we saw in the locale of Delano. The men, as time went on, they started passing away. We know that. It happens everywhere when we see single Filipino men who were once strong, vibrant, who could go up those rows and pick that lettuce and pick the asparagus that you are eating tonight. They would go down and they'd do it fast. They were like a machine, right, Alex? They were like a machine. And what Johnny said was that they started passing away. They started passing away. And so him and his father would get telephone calls at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night. And another Manong had passed away. Another Manong who did not have family here, who were all that the Itliangs had in the San Joaquin Valley and all that many children had there in Delano. I was surprised when we had the 50th anniversary of the grape strike that there were families though. It wasn't just single farm workers that were there, single men, but there were families. But the thing that Johnny said that struck me this morning was that he and his father, they buried over 600 single Filipino men. And that was the only time they received flowers at their funeral. That was really touching to me. And that's why you should learn about what it took. And these men struggled so hard and they brought something to this country. They brought us to what President Obama said was the promise of America, that we all contribute and it will all be better. And Filipino Americans will all be better for what we've done and for what those farm workers did in the 70s. Thank you. Good night.
Let's give it up another big round of applause for Tito Ray Pasqua. That inspiring speech. And I have the honor of introducing our Mayor Emeritus, Jim Deere of the City of Carson, everyone. Woo! We are honored by your presence, sir. Thank you so much for coming on up. And let's give it up again for Mayor Emeritus.
She's making me president. I like her. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to do an introduction. But before I do the introduction, my 90-minute speech will go real quick. Don't worry. Just kidding. My name is Jim Deere, and I'm really pleased to be part of FABU. You know, an organization like this is young. It's a new organization. The goals are noble and mighty, and together we can make it happen. I really like the idea of having that pledge a little earlier in the evening tonight. And if people are dedicated to make something happen, you know, if there's a will, there's a way. And so Larry Iliong, the way I look at it, is an American patriot. What is a patriot? A patriot is a woman or a man who has dedicated their life to their community, their nation. Obviously, Larry Iliong immigrated from the Philippines, and he adopted America as his country. And he saw the need for change in America, and he was willing to dedicate his life to that change. So that's why we celebrate and honor Larry Iliong every day. And I want to be sure that everyone in this room knows that we've celebrated Larry Iliong Day in the city of Carson for 14 years already. And that is because of a colleague of mine on the city council when I was the mayor of the city. He was the mayor pro tem of the city. That's none other than Elito M. Santarina himself, who's in the room with us. It was an idea, it was the brainchild of Elito Santarina. He came up with the initiative. He fought for it to make it happen, and it happened in Carson because of his leadership. So he really, really deserves that recognition. You're welcome. Walang alaman. So I also want to make a couple of comments. You know, it is a small world we live in. I remember as a boy being in a household with an Italian mother. We always had grapes and other fruit on the dinner table. And one day, there were no grapes. I asked my mom, because I like grapes, right? I said, how come we don't have any grapes? This is in the 1965, okay? I was just a boy. And she said, we're not buying grapes anymore. So I want to know why, because I ask a lot of questions. I still ask a lot of questions. If you know me pretty well already, you know I ask you a lot of questions, right? So I asked her, why aren't we buying grapes? She says, because we're supporting the farm workers. And I come from a military family, a veterans family, and also a union family. My mother and father both active union members. My mother in the teachers union, my father in the building trades and the pipe trades. And so we supported that boycott, as many American families did, to be sure that people who were farm workers, who were migrant workers, were supported by the consumers. We were the consumers. And that working together, and the reason I tell you that story is by all of us working together, Filipinos and non-Filipinos, for a noble cause, we can make it happen. And I really believe in Larry Itliong's legacy and how it can really benefit coming generations. It was interesting to me when I hear people say they didn't know who Larry Itliong was. Well, I happen to be a history teacher, so I have a little advantage. I was able to learn the smaller intricacies of history that most people really don't get in history class, even in college, because my interest was very high. So I learned about, you know, the farm workers, and I was able to meet Cesar Chavez, and you know, it's a world that's much smaller than you think. It's not just because of the global interconnections, but the interactions of people like tonight. I'm sure you've met someone. How many of you have met someone tonight you didn't know before? At least half of you, right? Well, then the rest of you, introduce yourself to someone, because they're part of a movement that you're part of. The movement to make Larry Itliong a nationally recognized hero. And Fawu is leading that effort, and together we can make that happen. So I'm here actually to introduce another speaker. We are fortunate to have a message that will be coming from the ambassador from the Republic of the Philippines to the United States. He's in Washington, D.C., so he's not able to come. Jose Manuel Romuald Valdez? Just testing you to see if you can say his name right. And make sure you're listening. So, giving that message is someone from the Republic of the Philippines consulate office in Los Angeles, is a vice consul, Ralph Jacob. I don't have my reading glasses. Beloria. So where did he go? He was sitting out. There he is, right there. Okay, why don't you come on up? So Ralph's going to give the message from the ambassador from the Philippines to the United States to you tonight. Okay, great job.
Thanks, Jim.
You're welcome.
Magandang gabi po. Good evening. I'm Vice Consul Ralph Jacob Beloria. I'm from the Philippine Consulate General, and I have the honor, as Jim mentioned, to deliver a message from His Excellency Jose Manuel Romualdez, the Ambassador of the Philippines to the United States. First of all, we congratulate the Filipino American Voices United for successfully organizing this event. We joined the celebration of Larry Itliong's life and work this October, which coincidentally is also Filipino American History Month. Of course, as you know, Larry's tireless dedication to social justice, labor rights, and unity stands as an example for all of us, not just Filipinos, not just Filipino Americans. And much like Larry, Filipinos across the US have consistently propelled American society forward. Thus, tonight's ceremony not only pays tribute to his remarkable contributions, but also underscores the cultural and historical significance of the Filipino-American community and its immense contributions to American society and history. Finally, we congratulate this year's awardee. As you know, he exemplifies Larry Itliong's legacy. May Larry's memory continue to serve as a guiding beacon as he continues his noble journey to create a more just world for all of us. Mabuhay, magandang gabi po. Thank you.
Wow, what an incredible treat we've had today. Let's give a big round of applause for both of our incredible speakers. And this is beautiful, just such a truly historic moment where I've learned so much history. And just again, that is a great message to just make new friends, especially in the room here with us. I have the honor of also bringing up one of the incredible leaders in our community, Sir Alex Fabros. Woo! Oh, he's taking a photo. 1 second. Oh, sorry. We're having you speak first. Oh, sorry. Sorry naman po. We're having our Chairman Nipa do the introductions. My apologies. There's a lot of jumping around with our programming. Miss Chairman Nipa, everyone.
Thank you so much, Maricres. Let us all please settle down for a little bit so we can listen to our next speaker. Before I go on introducing our very beloved speaker, Professor Alex Fabros, let me just say a few thanks, especially to our MCs, Maricres Valdez Castro and June Aglipay. Thank you so much for doing a great job. And also our supporters, Mayor Emeritus Jean Beer, of course, and Mayor Pro Tem Elito Santarina. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for your help and support for Fabio and the Larry Itliong movement. I hope you can continue to help us to make this a really big movement in the United States. And most especially to our special guest, Commissioner Ray Pasqua, who flew all the way from Washington. Thank you, Professor. He didn't only support with his presence, but he also donated a whole bunch of money, a whole bunch of funds. Thank you very much, Professor. And also, I'd like to make special mention to Ms. Evelyn Andamo for helping us bring our awardee, A.G. Rabanta. And that gentleman, I forgot his name. June Aglipay. Thank you very much. I mentioned his name earlier. Thank you. So now we go on to our next, this very distinguished speaker. Professor Alex Fabros is a third-generation immigrant to America. He was born in Cagayan Valley, Nueva Vizcaya, Philippines. He immigrated with his family to the United States in 1948. His father was a career serviceman and veteran of the 1st Filipino Infantry Regiment and a longtime journalist with Philippine Mail in the 1930s. Professor Fabros had heard the stories of anti-Filipino riots and labor strikes from his father's friends while growing up. He dropped out of college in the early 1960s and became a migrant worker himself, following the seasonal rotation of California salad bowl crops. He participated in several California labor strikes, including the 1965 asparagus strike in Gonzales and the grape strike in Delano. Professor Alex enlisted into the U.S. Marine Corps, serving from September 1965 to 1971. During his service in the Marines, he trained at the Defense Language Institute Presidio of Monterey, where he studied Chinese Mandarin. Professor Alex later attended in county schools to study Vietnamese and later on for Japanese. He also became a specialist in East Asian studies through the U.S. Army School at Fort Holabird, Maryland. He trained again in Korean and received refresher training in Vietnamese and Japanese. So he is a very, very good linguist. He had additional training in psychological operations and as an automation systems officer. In 1980, after his mother passed away, Professor Fabros began training in Filipino-American history through his father and uncles. He began the Filipino-American Experience Research Project, FAXRP, while still on active duty. His automation training enabled him to assemble facts into a database from different sources. In October 1992, after meeting Dan Gonzalez, a professor of the Asian American Studies Department in the San Francisco State University, FAXRP was incorporated into the Filipino-American Studies program. It is through his research that Professor then wrote several articles for Philippine Magazine from 1994 to 2006. Many articles inspired documentaries such as Unsung Heroes, Untold Triumph, The Delano Manongs, Forgotten Heroes of the United States Farm Workers, and the Celine Archives. He was recently featured in episode 4 of the award-winning PBS documentary, Asian Americans. His latest project is a short film in collaboration with Georgina Tolentino titled No Dogs. Professor Fabros attended the University of California, Berkeley in Ethics Studies and San Francisco State University, where he was recognized in 1998 as the Distinguished Graduate Student. He received a fully funded 5-year fellowship to the PhD program at the University of California, Berkeley, or California, Santa Barbara. So he has an MA in labor history and completed his PhD studies in global war and terrorism in 2003. Professor Fabros is recognized as the leading historian of the anti-Filipino race riots in the 1930s. Among his personal achievements is sailing. My kids have ridden his sailboat named Peggy Sue in San Francisco Bay. He currently resides in California's Great Central Valley, enjoying his retirement by continuing his research on the history of Filipino Americans in the United States. We now welcome all of us. Please clap our hands for our dearly beloved Professor Alex Fabros, and thank you for bringing your wife Lorraine and sister Lilian. Thank you.
Thank you for having me here this evening. I might be slurring a little bit, but I had a mild stroke just recently. In 1965, I dropped out of college, in 64, and my father was not about to let me sit around the house doing nothing. So he exiled me to my grandfather's farm labor crew, and I followed the crops for most of the spring of 65, the summer of 65, and very barely into the fall. One of the things that we did was that in Gonzales, we learned that we were being paid less than the Mexican workers. So we went on strike. And then we went down to Coachella Valley to pick grapes. And again, we were being underpaid, and we went on strike, and we were able to get our wages to match the Mexicans. The next stop was going to be Delano, and we hoped that we wouldn't have to go to strike. But we did go on strike. I was in the Filipino Community Center of Delano the day that the Filipino contractors and workers gathered together to find out what they wanted to do. And the vote was, we'll go on strike, because we had been successful in 2 other strikes. But we didn't realize that the farm growers had been united and did not want to meet our demands for a better living wage. We were on strike for roughly about a week, and we discovered that the jobs that we had walked out of were being filled by Mexicans. And so a vote was taken. Do we go back to work, or do we continue to strike? And most of the contractors and Filipinos said, we're going to go back to work. We can't win. Larry said, give me one day. I'm going to go talk to somebody. We didn't realize he was going to talk to Cesar Chavez. But he went to Cesar Chavez and asked him, would you join us? And Cesar said, we can't do it now. We'll do it in a few years. And people don't realize that Larry told Cesar, if you don't join us now, when you go on strike, we're going to scab you. We're going to take your place in the fields. So with that threat, Cesar Chavez on Sunday at the Lady of Guadalupe had called together the Mexican workers and asked them what they wanted to do. There was a lot of discussion amongst the Mexicans. I was outside tossing pennies against the wall, and all of a sudden I heard this word, huelga. And I asked one of my Mexican friends, what does that mean? He says, they're going to go on strike. So as a group, we moved from Guadalupe Church to, we went to the Delano Filipino Hall. We had breakfast together. And that became a tradition that we would always eat breakfast together at the Delano Hall. What happened was I was standing on the picket line and the sheriff came by and said, what's your name? I said, Alex Favos. He said, let me look at your ID card. 1 week later, I got my draft notice. I decided I was going to go to the Marine Corps instead of the Army. I spent 6 years in the Marine Corps. And then later, I joined the Army. I had an opportunity and I got commissioned as an Army officer. Remember, I still didn't have a college education, but I was one of the few uneducated Filipinos who was able to get commissioned that way. In 1972, I retired from the military. I retired from the Army, and I gave a speech in San Francisco, and Professor Dan Gonzalez heard me speak and invited me to San Francisco State to give the same speech. And the Dean of Ethnic Studies was there. And after that, he said, I'd like to have you on my staff. I said, well, I don't have a college degree. He said, it doesn't matter. What you just presented was what our professor should be presenting. So I taught Philippine American history for about 5 years at San Francisco State. And before I left to go to Santa Barbara, he says, I'm going to raise your title to professor. And it really helped a lot to open doors in academia, because, you know, if you go someplace, you say you're assistant professor, no one pays attention to you. So Santa Barbara, I studied, and I wrote articles that were later published in Filipinos Magazine. I was probably one of the first to say that Filipinos had started the strike in Santa Barbara, because prior to that, all I heard was Cesar Chavez, Cesar Chavez, Cesar Chavez, never Larry Itliong. In 1997, there's a conference at San Francisco State on Cesar Chavez Day, and I presented a paper about the Filipinos starting the strike. I heard many of the Mexicans said, no, that's not true. That's not true, as Cesar Chavez started it. And I said, we started it. I have the documentation here. And so slowly, a lot of other Filipino scholars started picking up on the fact that we Filipinos started that strike. I wrote an essay in 1996 for my MA in Ethnic Studies at San Francisco State, titled Filipinos, the Unforgotten Heroes of the UFW. And I rewrote it in 2006. And we won the award for Best Historical Writing that year. Marissa Roy picked up on that, and she went and made the documentary, The Leno Monos. I think that documentary helped to enlighten people who Larry Leon was and what our role was in the 1965 Great Strike. One of the things I learned was that there are a lot of facts about history. If you want to know more about it, you have to go looking for it because we're forgotten. The fact that we had started that strike was so completely unknown, even in academia. I had to basically twist a lot of arms to let people let me speak about the truth about the farm workers. And what I remember most about Larry was when he stood on the stage, and he was the type of individual, even if he had a microphone, he would yell at you. And it was really loud when he did that, and you had to pay attention. But he said, let's go on strike, and we did. And the rest is history. And I'm glad to be here today to have you people honor Larry Leon. He really wasn't my friend, but he was one of those monuments that you had to look up to. I'm glad that he's finally being honored and being recognized for his contribution to American history. Thank you.
Our honor.
Thank you so much for such an honor, boss. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. Sir, it's really nice to meet you. I'm a city councilman here in Carson. I'm also a history teacher.
Let's give another big round of applause to Professor Alex Cerritos. What a heartfelt, touching, and personal account of the impact of Larry Leon on himself. And I just want to push into that theme of tonight from all of the speakers. It's been a theme of self-educated. We are the advocates, we're the best advocates for our culture, for our identity, and being self-educated like what we're doing tonight. We're being taught by one another on what our true history is, and that's so powerful.
That's so correct. And of course, I feel like we should have more of this. It's continue on, but I know we're almost close to the ending. So, but thank you guys for being here, to all our guests, our elected officials. And I know we all had a special treat that not just honorary, but Johnny Leon himself. So the closing this evening, and of course, I'd like to thank all the servers coming to Carson Community Center. So let's give a hand, folks. Oops, sorry, I beat you to it. But to give us the closing remarks and feedback, ladies and gentlemen, palakpakan naman for Evelyn Mansion-Andamo, MPA Chair Program Committee for Filipino American Voices United.
Good evening, everyone. Mabuhay. Yes, unfortunately, a lot of our guests have already left. Time is running out for us. We do have time for dancing, and hopefully some of you are still going to be dancing away, right? Okay, we have a few more left anyway. We'll be able to be working with us and enjoying the evening some more. I'd like to say to our Mayor Emeritus and currently our Council Member Jim Deere of the City of Carson. You know that the City of Carson is the only city, as one already said, that it has proclaimed a paid holiday for the entire city on October 25th, which is the birthday of Larry Leong. Quite an honor. In the whole United States, that's the only city that has done that. And of course, Elito Santarina, he's the one who spearheaded that, as well as the celebration of Larry Leong. Who else do we have here? Okay, and we have our guests, our guest speakers, Dr. Fabros and Mr. Pasqua. Also, I'd like to say, well, last but not the least, the entire guests and families who have come and supported us for this particular event. Also, good evening. I'd like to do a shout out on some of the leaders who are still around for our event tonight. Where is she? I don't know. I think she's outside. Kathy Rubio. She's the president of president-elect of the Nursing Association in Southern California. The others are already gone. Filipe Poyente and the others. Any other community leaders who are missing? Oh yeah. Is Van still around? Van Vo? Okay, Van Vo. He's the executive director of our Alliance of Asian American Voters. And along with him are the board of directors, Nut, who are you pointing at? Nut Nguyen, a board of director, and of course Jerry the Douglas, a board of director also. I'm one of the advisors. Am I missing? Okay, so I'd like to make sure that we thank our dynamic and wonderful MCs, June Agrippa and Mary Press Valdez Castro. And I also would be remiss if I don't thank our Jerry de Tagle, along with the planning committee, without whose dedication and effort would not have made this event possible. Thank you very much for you joining us and actually being here, gracing the event with your presence. Thank you. And good evening. Before we start dancing, I'd like to remind you guys, number one, to please fill out the evaluation form. That would help us to better prepare for next year's event. And we also have an application form for those who would be interested to join the FABU. Okay? Good night and thank you. Enjoy the evening.
Welcome to our dance set. So if you guys are, if you feel like dancing, sayaw lang po tayo. Enjoy the night before you guys go home. It's Saturday night. Here we go. Again, let's go. We wanna love you now. Walang babae ng hirap, alam, malugaw. Ikaw na ang aking binabalikan.
let it go. Vanilla, vanilla, it's so like vanilla. No place to live for like vanilla. I'm home instead. If you guys feel like dancing, most definitely, come on. Everything's fine, but the moon forget. Raining on the beat I die, but everything's fine, don't let the moon forget. And when you get the sand, everything's fine, don't let the moon forget. And when you get the Thank you so much. Give you guys a little breather. Here we go. Something really groovy for you guys.
Fade away, celebrate the whole body. I'm like this woman to see. Only no love and energy. The man says I look to bring my life to one year. Play a cool and unconditional style. I'm running tears from my eyes. Stop along the side. Don't solo, that's okay. That's a victory. What's the matter? Get it to your whole day. What I say, you should have been a couple months. Say, crazy, say, man. Time to call it, bring it back. Say, it's time to get it to your whole life. Teach the whole celebration. They know it's go. So, put it in your top. Oh, no, say,
the sky. Love take me across the sea. Lord, have mercy, my love, my baby. You gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta take it love. All I know, love takes the love of your body said, baby, what's your body said? God's on the muscle, baby, your whole mind. So they have no answer to love, take everything. All right, we'd like to take a bit slow for you guys.
We want more. What faster slow?
No.
Yes, slow down.
Okay, here's a love song for you guys. No, he's gonna. Okay, let's go. Come on, guys. Send the request by Ms. Smith on that.